Hey guys, this is a circuit experience guide for the Nurburgring Nordschleife. I'll be showing how to get gold trophies for all the sectors and the hot lap. This will hopefully be the first of many guides that I do. I'm going to go through each sector individually, there are 11 in total, and then go through the full lap. So for each sector, I'm going to mention any key strategies to keep in mind for that sector, like for example the braking point, whether you need to brake or you just need to lift and coast, which gear to be in, where to hit each apex, which curbs to ride and which curbs to stay off of. And I'll add the timestamps for each sector in the description so you can just skip to whichever sector you're struggling with. But some general things to keep in mind first. The car. They make you use the BMW M6 Group 3 car, which is an absolute boat. It's really the last thing you want on a track like this, where you would want a car that's light and agile and planted. The BMW is heavy and slippery and dramatic. It'll understeer heavily on braking and oversteer under acceleration. Basically, the car just has way too much torque for how much it weighs, so it'll spin even under the slightest acceleration. So you just really have to be careful. There are some corners where you have to treat it very delicately, and other corners where you just have to throw it in, brute force, show it who's boss, and you'll see how I handle it in this video. Now the track itself obviously is one of the hardest tracks in the game, whereas a typical track will have around 10 to 20 corners. This one has over 150, and you need to take each one almost perfectly to get the gold. So you really need to find a way to stay consistent, keep the car under control, especially because the track is really narrow, so you don't have a lot of room for error. However, since the track is so long, when you're doing the hot lap, like the full lap, you don't have to worry too much about taking every single corner to the fastest hundredth of a second. You'll get through this much more quickly if you just control the car, keep your average speed up. If you lose a tenth of a second in one corner, it's fine. You have 100 other corners to make up that tenth. So you'll see even my sectors aren't perfect, but if I can get through these sectors with gold times, then you can too. So let's get it. So starting off, sector 1 is actually kind of hard to begin with. It's very easy to understeer in the first corner, so look for the orange wall on the right there to start braking down to second, touch the apex and then accelerate very gradually out of it, and then stay to the left down the hill here so that you can lift a little bit, move to the right, touch the apex, keep accelerating all the way down, brake a little bit for this left and then brake hard for the right, stay in third gear for the rest of this flowy section. Don't be too aggressive through these left, right, just keep it smooth, easy on the acceleration because it's very easy to spin here. So you can ride that curb a little bit, ride this curb a little bit, and then get a really good exit down to the straight so that you can make up a lot of time. Moving on to sector 2 is picking up exactly where sector 1 left off. So after those flowing left and rights, we accelerate down this hill and then up the other side. So I'm going to lift twice here, one for each apex. So I'm going to lift once there and then accelerate again and then lift again for that apex, accelerate again down the straight. If you take that line perfectly, you can get away with only lifting once, but you're not going to lose that much time if you lift twice, so that's okay. Up this hill, for this left, you can ride the crap out of this curb. Once this curb ends, start braking there all the way down to second, hug the apex on the right, and then start accelerating early down the hill, and you'll clear this sector. This sector is not that hard. Moving on to sector 3. This one's not too hard, but at the top of the hill, after the straight, you just have to throw the car in. It's kind of, you have to be brave. It's kind of scary. So you'll see what I mean here. We're just accelerating out of sector 2, down the hill, full throttle, nothing too hard here. And then after this left, we go up the hill. So stick to the right, brake, fifth gear, throw the car in, and then start braking down to third. See me touch the apex here, and then I leave the apex, and then I come back to it. So I can cut across to the right, ride that curb, accelerate easy. You can see I almost lost the car there. It just shows how tricky the car is, but this sector is not too hard. Moving on to sector 4. This one does get a little bit tricky. The car will want to spin through the low corners, the low speed corners. So for now, accelerating out of sector 3. For the first corner on the left, you don't have to brake. Just stay to the right, lift, and stay in 5th gear. So there, hit the apex, stay in 5th gear. At the end of the curb on the right, start braking down to 3rd, hug this apex, accelerate gently there. The car will want to spin. Stick to the left and then start braking, hug the apex on the right, stay in 3rd gear, accelerate wide, up to 4th and then 5th. Lift a little bit through this left kink, and then back down to 4th, hit an apex there, and then accelerate. This was where it gets tricky. You have to brake down to 3rd to the right and then brake again down to 2nd, hit a late apex there on the left and accelerate very gently. The car will definitely want to spin here and then accelerate to the line. On to sector 5. This one is not that bad. All the lines you're going to take are basic. It's just a matter of making sure the car doesn't spin each time you accelerate. So we're accelerating out of sector 4. At the end of this curb, start braking there down to 3rd, meet the apex, accelerate gently. The car will want to spin here. Stick to the left, down to 3rd, cut to the right, meet the apex, accelerate. See, I almost lost it there. So just get a good exit. You can lose a lot of time in the straight if you get a bad exit. So that's your priority for this sector. All the way down here, brake down to 3rd, cut in, meet the apex. I missed it a little bit, but it's more important that I get a good exit because there's a straight here. So accelerate to the line. This one's not too bad. On now to sector 6. So between 5 and 6, there's actually a straight that we're going to skip. So we're not picking up exactly where sector 5 left off, but we're here flat out 6th gear, kink on the left, so just lift down to 5th and then accelerate again. Don't touch the grass on the right. For the kink on the right here, just fly through, you don't need to lift. As soon as you see the curb on the left, brake there down to 2nd. Try to hit the apex. I completely missed it there, but that's okay as long as you get a good exit up to the line. This one's cake. Sector 7 is just one corner. It's called the carousel. So we're braking when we meet the curb here. Throw the car in, stay on the banked section. If you go up wide, you'll lose a lot of time. As soon as the carousel ends, accelerate very aggressively. Stay as close as you can to the right for this sector. That's it. Now on to sector 8. This is the mid-speed twisty section, so there's not a lot of straights. We're just bouncing between 3rd and 4th gear basically. So up to 4th, and then down to 4th for the first left and right. Meet the apex there, meet the apex there. Go out wide, down to 3rd for this one. This one's easy, accelerate hard, the car won't spin. Stay in 4th for these few, so to the right and then to the left. Meet the apex there, meet the apex again, and then to the right, ride that curb. Accelerate now down to 3rd for this one. And here, accelerate gently because the car will want to spin. Down to 3rd again to the left, meet the apex once, meet the apex again. Then to the right, and then accelerate out wide here on the left, up to U2 corner, down to 3rd, meet the apex, and then again accelerate very gently because the car will want to spin. Now for sector 9, this is the high-speed twisty section. So again, not many straights, but we're bouncing between 4th and 5th gears now. So except for this corner, we're in 3rd, meet the apex and accelerate again gently, and then we're up to 4th gear and then 5th gear. There's going to be a little bit of air here, so get air, slam down on the brakes down to 4th, and then up to 5th, high speed here. And for this section, we're basically just going left, right, riding all the curbs. So ride the left, ride the right, ride the left. And then as soon as you see the corner here, brake down to 4th. I slid way out wide here. I did not mean to do that, but I did lose a lot of time. Down to 3rd, and then get a good exit here up to the line. Now onto sector 10. There's really only one hard thing about this sector, is that there's a mini carousel that at the end of it, it's very easy to spin, which is right here. So stay in third gear, stay on the bank, and then just be careful not to spin the car. If you get past that, the rest of this sector is not that hard. So stay in fourth gear, meet the apex there, and all you have to do is get a good exit here because we're going out onto the main straight, and then accelerate up to the line. This one's really easy. Now we're at sector 11, the last sector of the track. So this is after the main straight, we're just skipping that part. You can see how long it was. So up here at the end of the main straight, we're flat out 6th gear, and we basically just have to be brave and brake as late as possible. So down the hill, you see the track starts to curve again. We just have to pick our braking point there, all the way down to 2nd gear, keep it under control. Meet the apex right, left, and then get as close as you can to that wall on the right and accelerate very gently. The car will want to spin there, up to the line, and that is the whole lap. So now it's time to do the whole lap. So this is the hardest part because we can't make any mistakes for the whole thing. But down to 2nd, meet the curb here, accelerate gently, and then move over to the left, lift a little bit, and then accelerate again down to the hill. Remember, we have to brake twice here, so brake a little bit left and then brake again down to 3rd. The flowy section, so just keep the car under control. Left, right, left. Brake early here, meet the curb on the right, ride the curb on the left. I didn't, but you should. Accelerate, get a good exit for this mini straight. Anytime there's a straight, it's very important you get a good exit out of the last corner before the straight. Here you can see I'm only going to lift once because I get the line perfectly. That saves me some time, especially because this is a straight. So any time that I gain at the exit of a corner will be multiplied down the length of the straight. Here, meet the curb on the left, flat out. As soon as the curb ends, start braking. Down to 2nd, I slid a little bit here, but that's okay. Accelerate down the hill. Just finished sector 2. This is the part where we have to throw the car in at the top of the hill, be brave. So down the hill, we're going to stick to the right, brake down to 5th, throw the car in, and then start braking. Meet the curb on the left, and then leave the curb, meet it again, cut across, ride the curb on the right, and accelerate gently. Don't have to brake here, just lift a little bit, meet the curb, brake there down to 3rd. I slid out there, that's a little not good, but that's okay. Down to 3rd here, meet the apex, accelerate. Small lift here. Down to 4th. I missed the apex completely there, but that's okay. So you see, I'm not hitting all the apexes. I'm losing tenths, but I'm making it up in other corners. So 2nd, late apex there. Accelerate gently, don't spin here. As soon as this curve ends, start braking down to 3rd, apex left, stick to the left and then cut across, apex on the right, get a good exit. Stick to the left, brake down to 3rd, meet the apex, get a good exit here because this is almost lost it there twice. This is the long straight, so you want to get a good exit out of that last corner because this is a long straight. So this isn't actually part of the sectors that we were doing before. They skipped this section. But this is the high speed part. And there are 2 kinks here that we have to worry about. The first one we're going to lift, which is just coming up now. So we lift here down to 5th. No need to brake. And then accelerate. For the second one, we're just going to fly through it, be brave, there. As soon as we see the curb start braking, boom, 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 down to second. Get a good exit here. Up to the carousel. Brake down to second, throw it in. Stay on the bank. Carousel ends, accelerate aggressively. Mid-speed twisty section, so third and fourth gears basically. Down to fourth, left, right. Down to third, meet the apex, accelerate aggressively. Stay in fourth here. Down the hill, down to third here. Easy acceleration. Down to third again, apex once, leave, apex again, cut across to the right, and then accelerate out wide to the left, up to U2 corner, up down to third, accelerate gently, this one's very slippery, down to third, again accelerate gently here, and this is the high speed twisty section. Slam down on the brakes, boom, down to fourth, turn in. We're gonna ride all these curbs. Left, right, left. Down to fourth, down to third. I went out wide a little bit there, that's okay. Up to the mini carousel, down to third. Stay in fourth here, just meet the apex. Stay out wide a little bit and then cut in at the end of this long right. And then get a good exit down to the main straight. So again, this is one of the sectors, this is one of the parts of the track that doesn't have a sector. We just skipped this part, but this is the long straight right before the brave braking zone at the end of the lap. So again, it's very important to just get a very good exit so that you can multiply your advantage down this whole straight. Down the hill, pick our braking point, be brave, boom, 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 ride the curb on the right, ride the curb on the left, or not. Close to the wall there, easy acceleration, this one's very slippery too, and accelerate across the line. There it is. Good luck, guys.